right, welcome everybody. Chris is out traveling the world for the next couple of days, so you get me today, B team. Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see. Public notification of this meeting has been published, posted, and distributed in compliance with South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. And welcome everybody. So, approval of the agenda. We got any? We got a quick one there, Rich. Got a second on that one?
Second.
All right, Howard. Thank you very much. And then. So we got that approved. Let's go on to the minutes of last time. Any questions on the minutes from the last meeting?
Need a quick vote on the approval.
Have to vote on it? All right. On the vote, if you don't agree, say aye. All right. Since we don't have any ayes, then it's approved. All right, let's go to the approval of the minutes. Any questions on the last meeting? No? Got a motion? Ryan? Rich?
Mark had the second.
Let Mark have that one. All right. Anybody have any issues or with that particular item? All right. Anybody's opposed, say aye. All right. So it's approved. Public comment. We got some public today. Hi there.
I do have a comment.
Let's have
Do you want it from here or? Well, I have a procedural question. I've got two comments with Palmetto, which I know there's going to be a presentation today. So I can give those comments about that now, or if you want me to wait until the presentation, I can do that. So from a procedural, which would you prefer?
better to have those before or after the presentation. Doesn't matter to me.
I'll go after later too, again, if you want.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll do it during, so I can make a comment during the little
ahead.
Palmetto. Okay, all right. So the other comment is regarding the movement of the taxiway. And as we start thinking about that project work, I want to understand if the movement of that taxiway on Hilton Head Islands Airport, which is going to be 100 feet closer to Beach City Road, is that work that will move forward prior to and independently to the finalization of the airport layout plan? So I'm just trying to understand, where it fits into that process. If it's going to be something that's moving forward now and isn't dependent on the airport layout plan. I don't know if there's an answer to that. Yes, that's fine. And I want to understand is there's going to be concerns, of course, regarding the work. Residents and businesses will be concerned about increases in noise as the taxiway is closer to homes and businesses. And then the proposed movement of the taxiway will require the acquisition of 12 parcels of land, directly impacting several local businesses. And business retention is a top priority for the town, and it is a concern for our community because we're already facing some challenges of businesses relocating off the island. So as we think about this process moving forward, we need to be very careful and mindful of the economic impact that this may have on our local economy and take steps towards supporting those affected businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Have any other comments? Nope. Okay. Director's report.
All right, well, welcome to the August meeting. Thanks for making the trek out here to Burton Wells. Your second time, so everybody made it here. Good.
Yeah.
We're missing a couple. Hopefully they're not still on their way, lost out there. All right, so this photo was taken back at Water Festival time. And I don't know how many of you guys know, but at the Water Festival, there's an air show on the second weekend. And at ARW, we always have the planes, stay out there, and we provide them with the fuel as well as the smoke oil that they use during the performance. So when the two pilots came in, we had a fun meet and greet event out there, and had some special guests who came out and had a chance to meet with the demonstration pilots, and also get to have hero cards signed and stuff like that. So a fun chance for them to meet the pilots. So we had some of the students from CAPA, which is Child Abuse Prevention Association, come out. And we also had members of DSN, which is the county's Disability and Special Needs, come out. So it was fun way to open up the airport and have some folks come out and meet those pilots. So it's a good event, and I think somewhere in here we've got a video, so hopefully we'll make that work. All right, switching right down to Hilton Head so you can see the terminal progress. Again, things have changed since these photos were taken, but you can see that the drive lanes are all installed, and we've got some of the markings done there to show where folks are going to be able to pull up in front of the terminal. It gets really crowded already in there as the planes are changing over, especially with the summer season. But it's progressing quite nicely out there. There's another shot of the traffic lanes, what it looks like. A lot of the fencing's been removed and kind of relocated to provide more access and more room. Another shot there. We've got handicapped areas striped out, and they've got access to the ramps. Now we're inside. This has even changed since the photos were taken. There's a lot more of the drywall has been finished with installation, and all the mud work's been done and detailing's been done. Some of the specialty, I guess the best way to say it, specialty drywall has been installed as well. So this has changed in the last week and a half or so. But it's really taking shape inside the building. And we did have one of the big events was we had the artwork committee get together, and this is for the wall that's going to be between the boarding gate areas and the TSA checkpoint. And that wall serves two purposes. One, it is a great opportunity to have a nice piece of artwork up there. And number two, that artwork helps to kind of screen. It'll be a semi-opaque, mostly opaque view back in, so people are not able to stand in the boarding gate area and look back into the security screening checkpoint. So this is our committee. We did 2 different tours out there for folks who were evaluating and selecting finalists for the artwork. So you can see that motley crew there, a couple board members, and Melinda always is popping up in the terminal. So I think she really likes it out there. She comes. It was really hot. It was hot that day. It was. The good news is the transformers coming in any day now with Palmetto Electrics will have power on there. So next time you come in, we'll have AC for you. So that's just so you know how good it is when the AC is turned on. All right, then just some update. Here's the committee hard at work. And you see Melinda in there again evaluating the artwork. We're down to final selections there, so we're pretty close to having that wrapped up. And then, I forget, was this last week or 2 weeks ago? I lose track of time. Time flies. Anyway, we did a great tenant appreciation event out there. Basically, we provided breakfast for everybody. So Rocio coordinated to have Chick-fil-A sandwiches for everybody, and all the tenants in the building were able to enjoy a tenant appreciation meal. So I think we did 70 meals for folks. So we do that about once a quarter. Just that's something that we do to make sure the folks who work inside the terminal know that we love them. And that's everybody from cab drivers who are out front of the terminal to the janitorial staff to airline, TSA, and rental cars, everybody else who's working inside the terminal and outside. And then Chief is here. So we had a photo of him, and I said, let's take that off because he's here in person. So we're very happy to have Jeremy Mathis on the team. He comes to us all the way from Las Vegas. So he was out there with the Air Force on, tell me again the name of the facility.
Nevada Test and Training Range.
All right, so that's a nice way to say that he's very experienced in ARF because they responded multiple times a day to real incidents out there. So anything from hung ordnance to brakes on fire, things like that. So, and probably more exciting than that, but we won't brief you on that today. But the chief comes to us with a lot of experience, And like I said, real world experience, so he's going to be a great leader for our team at HXD. And with that experience, he'll be able to really focus the training that the team goes through. So glad to have him here. He's currently on bachelor duty out here on his own. He wanted to get out here as soon as he can, so he is leading the family, and he's looking around to find where he wants to live. So if anybody's got some great hot leads for him on great neighborhoods from to live in, he's looking for it. But Jeremy, do you want to say a couple words and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't you come up here, because we got the microphone, and since we do everything on TV, we want to make sure you can be seen and heard.
Yes, met most people and shook most people's hands, but if I haven't, I will. Thank you for having me. Everybody's been very welcoming. It's been a great experience so far. I've only been here a few weeks, but it seems like the team is well put together, and there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm ready for it. Area is beautiful. Seems like the family's going to be very happy when they get here. So they're still back in Las Vegas, but they're excited to come out. My kids just started school. I'm married with 3 girls. My oldest started high school, so she's excited to come out, meet new friends, and we're excited to get our life started here with the team, and looking forward to the future. So
Welcome.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
How was it to finally see rain?
It hasn't stopped yet.
I was going to say, it was about day 2, and Jeremy was here, and he walked up to me and he said, "What's this stuff falling from the sky? We don't do this in Nevada." So a little bit different environment, and it's hot and humid here. So
We're human.
when they say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. It's actually both. So welcome aboard. A lot of good stuff. We brought him in right before the Part 139 inspection, which is next week, and we'll talk about that later. But he's already made a huge impact on getting us ready for that, tying up some loose ends. So glad to have him on board, and he's going to make a big difference. Already has. Next is our video, so we'll see if this. I can't see my cursor.
So every year, Beaufort holds an
You broke it, Steve.
inside that water festival is an air show. The air show pilots use Beaufort Executive Airport for their aircraft, where we fuel them, put smoke oil in them, and provide the maintenance and location to house them. And so we wanted to welcome them in today. They're landing in preparation for their air show this weekend at the water festival. Yeah, we decided that we should be welcoming the pilots in. One of the outreach opportunities that the airport has is we wanted to offer the opportunity for the community to come in here, and one of the ways we could do that is reach out to some of the disadvantaged youth in the county and provide them the opportunity to come in and meet the actual air show pilots, the pilots that they're going to see on the waterfront. So we have those groups coming in today to sign hero cards, to be able to meet the pilots of these airplanes, the same pilots that they're going to see when they're performing over the water festival this weekend. I think collectively here at Beaufort Executive Airport, we try to come up with ways to involve the community at the community airport, the county-run airport, and collectively we came up with this opportunity, reached out to some of these outreach locations, and they were on board with it, we were on board with it. A lot of work with the water festival committees, the air boss for the water festival, they got involved and they thought it was a great opportunity. We thought it was a great opportunity, so we started planning and it came together. So this is the first year we're doing a welcoming committee, and it sounds like we're going to try to do this every year and provide this opportunity. My overall hope is for that young lady, that young man who, like myself, when I was a kid, I had models of airplanes in my room, and I always wondered, wow, what it would be like to be a pilot, or some kid might wonder what it's like to be a race car driver or a rock star in a band. And the opportunity to meet that person, meet them face to face and get something signed by that person, a baseball player, a football player, your favorite cheerleader, your favorite whatever it is, the opportunity to meet that person means a lot to these kids, and it gives them something to dream for. There's a lot of opportunities in the aviation field. There's mechanics, there's administration specialists, there's businesses, there's industry. Most people think it's just pilots. There's a lot to go into that. So there's opportunities for young men and women, and if I can plant that seed now, then maybe they'll think about it in the future and give them something to go for, something to aim for through school. And they might one day say, hey, I'd like to be a mechanic and work on those airplanes, or I might like to be a pilot and fly on those airplanes, or I might like to be involved in the industry that finances a charter business. It could be a multitude of things. So if I can plant that seed now, then I feel like I succeeded. Well, thank you for everybody at Beaufort Water Festival, putting on the annual Water Festival every year. It's something that grows in the community, and I think over the years that I've been in Beaufort, since the late 1980s, it's grown from something very small, and it continues to grow every year. This year, weather has impacted the Water Festival, but it doesn't seem to impact the people that come to it, the people that travel in to go to it. We love our community, continue to support the Water Festival, come out, and each year I know the airport is trying to do our part to make it better, to grow the Water Festival. Thanks to the Water Festival, the community, the citizens of Beaufort County, come out to the airport. Come see your airport here in Beaufort Executive Airport. Appreciate everybody's involved.
Way to go, Steve.
Steve's agreed to stick around afterwards for interviews and
Hero
autographs.
cards?
So
Can you sign my card?
hero cards, all that good stuff. Now we're going to see if this will advance for me. Let's see. Problem is the cursor doesn't show up on the screen, so. There we go.
Have to come.
He just had to get close.
The proximity thing, it works. All right, just a couple of quick points to update you on. Don't breathe. All right. RBC Heritage sponsorship. We do plan on doing that again next year in 26. We've already been in coordination with the team from the Heritage Foundation immediately after this most recent event, and we're working with them now. So I want to let you know that we do plan on doing the same thing next year with the mini skybox there on the 10th green, and then also with access on the 18 skybox at the Lighthouse Club. So hopefully everybody had a chance to go out and volunteer. If you didn't, start thinking about it for next April, and we'll get you in there. But it's a great opportunity, and we'll have some fun giveaways and all that fun stuff too. But we have plenty of time to think about it, and it's a great event. So excited about that. Next one was a great event too, but not quite as exciting, the Part 139 inspection. This is the annual safety certification inspection that every commercial airport, Part 139 airport, goes through. So our inspector is coming into town on Monday, and she'll be with us through Thursday, it looks like. So nice long inspection, and they look at everything on the airport. So everything gets turned upside down, inside out, from everything on the airfield to all your records folders and training records and things like that. So it'll be a busy week, and if you call us and we sound a little bit stressed out, that's why. So maybe wait till the following week to call us and ask questions, but we'll all be involved in that inspection next week. And then the last one is the Town of Hilton Head Island ATAX. That opportunity, we do that each year, and you all authorize us to do that early in the season so that we're ready to go with our approval from you. but we'll once again be applying for some of those funds to use for advertising for that inbound audience who's in places like New York City, Chicago, Washington, places like that, where we're trying to let people know that they can fly directly to the airport and not have to worry about that scenic drive from the other state to our airport. So, all right, and that's pretty much all I've got there. The next slide's got our QR code, so if you've not done that before and you want to look at Engagement HQ, that is the site that keeps you up to date on all the terminal progress. So we keep that every couple of weeks. There's new photos, and if there's a narrative that needs to be updated, we'll do that, but you'll also get the updates at this meeting as well. So that's what we've got for the director's report this month. So, thank you.
All right, it says here, unfinished business, the project loan Palmetto update and recommendation. All right.
I'll let John give the Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation presentation on this first, and then I sent you guys everything in advance so we can, that's why I was trying to shorten this up. So John, I'll give you the podium. It's all yours.
I have sent to you, but if anyone would like a physical copy, you can pass that around. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you. I have presented this project over the years to the airport board, so I see some head shaking. So you've seen it before. These chairs, you deserve battle pay for sitting in a meeting. So I'll try to, I'll try to be brief. You're paying the price. This project, we started out. Its project name was Project Cloud. I'm joined today by Mark Rogers, who is the CEO of Lone Mountain Aircraft. Mark is back there. So if there's a more technical question that you want an accurate answer for, Mark is here to answer that. But I'll give you a little background on why economic development paid attention to this project. And it really underscores the need to kind of shepherd a project. So this is a project that John actually had in the pipeline back in 2017 before our organization was formed. Week one, we took it over. So we've been working on it for 8 years. Why does a project take so long? Because there are a lot of moving parts. But the folks at Lone Mountain, and this project will be Lone Palmetto, their South Carolina corporation. There were heirs properties. There was the assemblage of the property. There were, over this period of time, 8 administrators in Beaufort County. There were 2 administrators on Hilton Head. And I think the pace of the project also was slowed because, as you read through it, we brought a certain portion, we call it the Canic property, through the Army Corps of Engineers, and that can be a lengthy process. Keep that in mind as we talk about where we are today, because that lengthy process will begin again, which I think will fit very well with the master planning you're doing. So you'll be able to move down 2 tracks. But from an economic development standpoint, and for Hilton Head Island in particular, the community is making significant investments on the commercial aviation side. So on the general aviation side, if you're making public investments, you like to see those paired with the private sector saying, yes, this is a good investment. So we think it makes sense for that purpose. We also look at, and I belong to a Bible study group in Sea Pines, and one of my friends in that group ended up getting his Cirrus aircraft a hangar space because he had once lent the guy who owned the hangar before him jet tickets. So there's a real lack of hangar space at the airport for people who have have nice aircraft, and you don't want to leave a nice piece of machinery out in the sun and the elements around here. And so you hear a lot of stories. We have significant investors in the county who keep their planes as far away as Illinois and in other places. We also hear stories of pilots not landing at Hilton Head and making a different decision based on gas prices. So we think that having an investment like this at Hilton Head, at last count, and with construction costs, we estimate that to build 100,000 square feet of hangar space and a fixed base operation at the airport would be using $2023 2 years ago, which are much lower than what they would be today. A $23 million investment, creating 51 high-paying jobs, but it'll also bring investors to our county. So we think it's not only an economic development project in itself, but it would probably be better than us going to the Paris Air Show to find investors, or to Wisconsin to find investors in our county. People are flying these aircraft to be great. So you have a lot of material there. So over the years, we've worked very closely with John to work out how the deal should be done, and we relied on John to communicate with the FAA. We actually have contacted a consultant that gave us about a 6-page report on how the lease that was submitted by Lone Palmetto last year could be improved to protect the interest of Hilton Head, its residents. And I'd like to mention that we had meetings at Palmetto Hall and Port Royal Plantation. Any of the board members attend any of those meetings? So you saw, it was kind of funny at Port Royal Plantation, we had one gentleman asked a lot of questions, and I thought he was like against it. And at the end, he came up and asked if he could invest in the project. So I think he was doing investor due diligence. Now, when we've met with Hilton Head, you know, we had great meetings in the community. I don't know what got into me, but at the end of the Palmetto Hall conversation, I said, is anyone against it? And not one hand went up. Now, there are concerns, and Hilton Head's town council is very clear because they control 9.7 acres there. So there are going to be things that they would like to have in the agreement that protect the interest of that community. I happen to live in that community. I think they're doing their fiduciary role to make sure that the operations don't expand, or expand to the point where they deteriorate important property values nearby. So I do think there's a path forward. John provided you with a nice document, pros and cons. I think his cons, if I could address that, are items that in the negotiation of the lease, those are things you want to protect for the county standpoint. So it's good he raised those. And lastly, I'll just point you to page 3 in the presentation, but we had Clemson look at the economic impact, and you have pretty weighty numbers there. Hilton Head's deputy town manager ran the tax anticipation through a model. So the facility itself might be in excess of $300,000. When you start getting aircraft there, the revenue to the county, and that's why we do economic development, to be really honest with you, is to build grand list growth so that people in Burton can have a nice facility like this, people who need bridges and roads and schools, to lower the tax burden, and then to create good jobs. And I will tell you, everything we do, and hopefully this is the way aviation's going, we're moving towards more efficient, quieter pieces of machinery. So we really honor the environment with the way we approach our work. But I do think this is a great project. I'd be happy to take questions. I think I covered everything I expected to in a way I didn't anticipate I would do. And Mark and I are here if you have any questions. So thank you.
Now, I have a question. If we agree to this, What happens next? It goes to county council?
Yeah, county council would have an opportunity to review it, and then they would probably direct, and Hank Adminson's a great conduit with the county for us. They would have legal begin to draw up a letter of intent. Things that will come up is that as you're going through your master planning, if anything significantly changes, that could be incorporated into the agreement. It says here non-binding, but I mean, people are going to spend money on Army Corps of Engineers approvals on this balance of 9.7 acres. So really, we would hope to have a good faith agreement to move forward with certain parameters spelled out that respect what your board's concern is, what the county council's concern is, what Hilton Head's town council is concerned about as they consider selling 9.7 acres into the project. So, yeah, county council would have final approval on whether to proceed. We did have a meeting with them, I believe it was on May 8th, and the indication is that they were supportive of it, but want to be mindful of all the concerns that John and his staff have for the operation of the airport and the community's concerns.
Would those facility include a maintenance facility on the property? And if so, will you be serving jets, turbines, or just pistons, or all three?
We covered that at your community meeting, and I won't speak to it because I would ask Mark to come up and speak to it. But we really see the existing operation that you have there today continuing. Mark, anything to add to that?
That's correct. Economics really kind of forces out this from being. These were specifically excluding.
Plan is to support Jason
Correct.
with a basic maintenance facility, not necessarily for jet or turbine
That's right.
type of aircraft.
And Jason's
And I ran my decimeter. Your name's Jeremy, the new guy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I ran the decimeter when he was speaking. He was not shouting at you, and those were the same readings we were getting in the neighborhood, so.
Of the 100,000 square feet of hangar space, how much would be, how much is going to be transient, how much is going to
Yeah.
I was afraid you were going to ask.
Yeah, just, otherwise we're not going to hear you.
Sure. Mark Rogers, Lone Palmetto, glad to be here with you. You had a question about the composition of the hangar?
100,000 square feet of hangar space, have you decided how much would be reserved for transient versus how much would be reserved for based customers at Hilton Head?
In short, no, we haven't. Given that we are very limited on real estate out there, the aviation-focused architectural firm that we have engaged is suggesting sticking with community hangars more than T hangars, and that's really just to maximize the space. So with that, with it being, our current plans are showing 3 large community hangars, roughly 30,000 square foot hangars, slightly more. That allows us to be very flexible, whether it's going to be a full-time tenant or whether it's going to be accommodating transient. And that can be adjusted, as we go. Yes, sir.
Follow up on Howard's question. I think I remember from a previous presentation, year or 2 or 3 ago, whatever it was, that you were talking about maintenance and a maintenance center, and that is not going to be, your proposal now does not include like a maintenance base per se, or a...
Trying to think about how long, that'd been at least 3 years ago. Yeah.
Or a service center for that matter. Those types of things are not
We
part of
do
this
operate a
proposal?
service center in Ohio, and we like the maintenance business. We've been on this project 8 years, and I think as we have looked at cost and what it's going to take to be here, I think that economically maintenance just doesn't make sense. There's a couple of reasons. So that is not in our current plan.
That was,
Other than just basically accommodating the existing maintenance personnel that are there, and they would be tenants of ours. But we have no plan to relocate a maintenance business into the Hilton Head Island Airport. I think I shared this, I believe it was the Palmetto Hall community meeting, and it's just really, it's the economics that kind of forces that out. So maintenance labor, we don't have the maintenance labor pool here that we would like to have. Perhaps in another part of Beaufort County, but just out there on the island, that's challenging. So
yeah, thank you.
Jason relocate to your hangars, or would he stay where he is?
I think he would in a very, very quickly. Just a guess.
In a heartbeat.
I want to make a comment about this since we're talking about maintenance. The Jason, for those of you that don't know, is the one and only maintenance facility we have right now. Every single airplane that's based at Hilton Head relies very heavily on him, including myself. When we need issues done with the aircraft, where the aircraft's on the ground and are unsafe to fly, if we don't have a maintenance guy in the airport, we're grounded. We have to call somebody in from far away to do that. So he's an integral part of the airport, and he and I have had private conversations about the fact that he's very restrained with space right now. He would like to be able to do more, and if he does not see a project like this go forward, he's probably going to leave Hilton Head and go to Ridgeland. He lives out in Ridgeland. There is more opportunity out there. There's more land development. And so, if nothing else, this project would be a big boon for everybody that's based at Hilton Head, because we'd maintain our maintenance facility there.
Full disclosure, Jason is my mechanic as well, even though my Cirrus is based at Beaufort Executive. I fly there and have him work on it. Anticipation of making it a Cirrus Authorized Service Center, or is that too far out? I know Jason does not want to do that on his own, but I didn't know if any partnership would allow that, because that would bring a lot of additional maintenance.
Supporting it from a real estate perspective, I would just mention that it's likely to be, the maintenance presence there is likely to be fairly small, only because that real estate is more expensive than your average. So if you are trying to operate a maintenance base and you have the choice of being at Beaufort Executive or Ridgeland or some of these other, local spots, that the cost per square foot of rent is going to be quite a bit lower. So. Do I hear you saying that you'd like to move over to Hilton Head if you have maintenance over there? Okay.
I live 8 minutes from my airplane. I don't want to.
No, that's a great
situation. I don't want to
situation.
go to Hilton Head.
So is it safe to assume that the business plan really is transient parking, tenant parking, fuel sales, tenant maintenance facility adjacent, and sales
Hangars.
of other aircraft?
Well, our sales business would certainly have a presence here. South Carolina is a great place for us to complete an aircraft closing. For example, Georgia's not. We have to move aircraft out of the state of Georgia to do an aircraft closing transaction, and Florida is often not as well. So we have a lot of aircraft coming out of, one of the manufacturers that's in Florida, I'll just say, that will relocate. And we've actually come to Hilton Head before for that, which is not a bad thing for this community.
In summary, those are basically the 5 elements of the plan.
And if you didn't mention, building and renting hangars, then that's probably one of the most acute needs that you have out there.
Parking.
But you would be an FBO for any transient aircraft.
Affirmative.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks for the invite.
Questions, comments?
I have a question, one more, and I know this is just supposition, but assuming, and I say that because it's a Beaufort County, perfectly. Just let the dream world with me for a moment.
Oh, yeah,
Assuming everything went perfectly, when could they start moving dirt? Are we talking 18 months or 4 years?
There are too many things involved to even be able to crystal
I
ball
admire
that.
the fact they stuck with this after 7 years. If I was the business owner, I'd go, well, they obviously don't want me.
Let me put it to you this way. The Army Corps of Engineers will be involved.
Okay.
There's still work to be done through them before it gets to any.
Which is why it makes sense to parallel this with the master plan. So we'll let them talk to each other as we move forward, let them inform each other and see what develops. But I think what we want out of you today is a recommendation to take this forward to council to continue this kind of investigative approach and a developmental approach.
Well, that was my question in terms of you just need our recommendation to continue the process moving forward and.
Well, specifically to develop that non-binding letter of intent so that we work on that parallel track.
On the parallel track, and talking about the 9 acres that the city's potentially, in. All right, did you have any other comments or questions that you wanted to bring up at this stage?
So thank you. First of all, I want to say that the process that was used, having the community meetings, I consider a best practice. I was at the Palmetto Hall meeting, which Palmetto Hall can get a little feisty. So we were a little feisty at the beginning, but by the end, you did that great question, not knowing what the answer would be. And at the end of the meeting, everybody was very supportive. And I also watched the Port Royal tape as well. So I appreciate the fact that you came out to do that. There were 3 pieces of feedback that I have been hearing from residents regarding this. And residents are supportive, but they have 3 areas of concern. The first one you already addressed, which is the maintenance and the desire to not have engine and type of maintenance work because of the run-ups and the potential noise. So I'm glad to hear that that's still the case moving forward. That was their number 1 concern. So thank you for that. The second area was about placement of the buildings. I know there was some original design shown, and there was some discussion about maybe the orientation of the buildings could change to also help mitigate noise for people. So if we can continue on that track, that would be important. And then the last one that I don't know came up at the meeting, but has come up since then is stormwater. So as the buildings and all of the work is done, we want to make sure that we have an eye on the stormwater so that there are no adverse impacts to the surrounding areas. So those are the 3 areas of concern. And as long as those are incorporated, I think people will be pleased. And I'll make sure that the town of Hilton Head gets more formally involved in outlining exactly what we're looking for. So thank you for that opportunity.
Hank Amundsen with Beaufort County. Just from the administration side and from council, we have gone to council a couple times in executive session to discuss this. Council has expressed their interest in moving forward, so we're glad to. But the last discussions we've had internally was we wanted to get more direct feedback from the airports board, and so this has been very good. The town of Hilton Head's administration has been involved and very communicative in desires, whether and they've even went to council to get their desire, as I believe is in the summary, to move forward. And some of the cons, as was mentioned earlier, can be worked through in conjunction with the town, in conjunction with the project, to make sure that it is satisfactory to everybody. But with the letter that would come from county council, that they just wanted your buy-in, head nod, or hopefully a vote, just to say that everybody's marching forward together. Because the project does need some assurances, because some of the cons listed as risks are going to be borne by the project, because there's going to have to be a lot of work done to make sure that this property is suitable. But rightfully so, they don't want to move forward with expending that money and doing certain things if they don't realize and have assurances that there is a destination, there is a goal, there is a finish line where they can be successful. So we appreciate your conversations, and that's where we'd go.
All right. Amongst ourselves, do we have any other questions or comments before we move forward? I think it's a great thing, but if anybody wants to make a motion to
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that the board make a recommendation to develop a non-binding letter of intent for presentation to county council.
Okay, got a second? Got seconds? All right, all those not in favor say aye. All right, having nobody say anything, approved. And we'll get that letter ready for you.
Good, well, we'll work with Hank and Jared, and we'll get this on the council agenda as soon as we can in front of them.
I think it's a great thing.
Live when it's finished.
Good, thank you for that. Thank you for the presentation, John, thank you. Mark, thank you for being here to answer questions.
As soon as I heard
Thank you so much.
engineers, I knew we were screwed.
John doesn't like the chairs, so he's going.
He's out. He's out of here.
He doesn't want to do the gate, hang around for the gate authorization?
Okay, new business, John?
All right, so we've got a couple action items today. The first one is a grant acceptance. So last month in July, Steve and I were up at the Aeronautics Commission and presented a grant package to them for the conceptual design package for airport administration, kind of a consolidated facility over at 26 Hunter Road. And Aeronautics Commission approved that, so we've actually received their grant offer and is making its way through the county approval process to get signatures. But we need your acceptance as well, because we told county council that you already accepted, so you better do that. I will take no for an answer. That's kind of where we're going.
Got a first and a second, got a motion and a second. All right. Anybody not willing to do that? Okay, approved.
You're accepting the grant money. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a wise decision.
Absolutely. We always take money.
That's right. All right, the next one is a work authorization for Talbot Bright Ellington to do some design work for us on parking lot gates, and that's so that we can move forward with our new parking company who's going to kind of do the, I guess, back office management of the parking system. We're going to put a gate system in at both sides of the airport, on the GA side and the commercial side, as you've heard before, just to manage that parking better and to realize that revenue that is probably leaking out at this.
Actually, I think we talked about that last meeting.
John, did you, I know you reviewed the new parking system that'll be at HXD. Process for parking and paying for parking.
It's going to be a gate system, so it'll be like you're used to seeing at an airport. You'll come in through a gate. Okay. So, well, a little bit different because every vehicle that comes in is going to go through the gate. So that's taxi cabs, as Ubers. Don't ask me detailed questions yet, but taxi cabs, Ubers, neighborhood folks coming to pick up loved ones. You're going to come through the license plate reader. You're going to read your license plate. This is all cloud-based, tech-based stuff.
Okay.
And if you're in there to pick somebody up and you're inside that 30-minute window, when you go through the exit lane, it's going to recognize that your license plate was there for 15 minutes and you're not going to have any payment due. We'll have codes set up for employees. We'll have codes set up for Ubers, taxis, rental car returns. All that stuff gets handled within the software system. If you go in there and you're flying out for a week, then the same thing happens. The license plate reader picks you up as you come in. It'll pick you up as you went out. It'll quickly do that math, see that you're there for 7 days. You'll be charged for 7 days.
Credit card.
So the current system,
Yes.
Credit card only, yeah.
yeah, the current system.
You're not the last guy on the planet using cash, are you, Howard?
He Venmos everything.
Credit
Yes,
cards
cash.
and
Venmo, Zelle, something.
it'll be open to, Apple Card and all that good stuff, so.
So the current system right now is not working that way because there's no gates, and it's causing a huge amount of confusion on our ambassadors. Not even knowing where to sign up for parking, not knowing they have to pay ahead of time. That's all going to streamline that and make it different?
Yes.
So there's still going to be 2 free hours or only 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Okay.
Going to be drop arms for entrance and exit, or just exit, or what?
I think it's both, right? Yeah, both.
What happens if the power goes out? You can't get to the airport? Okay.
Yeah, we'll have backups
Okay.
for that. Yeah, we've asked those questions to the company. Hey, you know, is the gate, is it going to move people fast enough away from that entrance? Because we don't have much room when you come off Beach City Road. We're so limited in acreage, and it is very fast moving.
I think, Steve, we asked this question the last time, that if the power goes out, they have a monitoring system that can automatically open the gate. Is that correct?
Well, it still needs power, so we'll still have to have the backup power for it, but that's all part of the plan as well.
Anticipated location of the entrance gate is,
I need work authorization for Talbot Bright.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Find the right spot.
Yeah.
To make sure that the entry and the exits are in the appropriate.
We're collecting no revenue now?
We are collecting revenue.
Really?
percentage.
Oh, it's all electronic. It's all on it's basically an honor
somebody
system.
scans.
It's an honor
People have to
system.
scan in and do it.
Right.
So
If they
we'll,
don't scan in, they get a free park.
unless, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a way to do that. That's why we need to get this authorized to get the gates
I'm
in.
not.
We're losing revenue, folks,
I voted
so,
for elite, so.
yeah, put your hand up in the air and let's get moving.
Okay.
Damn, you're tough this morning.
Well, these are
Well,
all, these are revenue generating
Yeah.
things for the airport. This will,
This stuff we need to do. so, I mean,
and this will improve the customer experience, to your point and Brian's point exactly, to eliminate that confusion. This is what they're used to seeing. We're limited in so many other ways at the airport. We've got, if you drive to most other airports, you see overhead signs, you see all the, we can't do that on Hilton Head Island. You're not allowed to do that. So we have to adapt the way most other airports don't. So we're doing
What's the
the
timeframe?
best we can.
You think they'll
ASAP.
be
We're going to get this going, and we'll be in meeting with town planning staff as soon as we get a draft.
Great.
Last question, is this just for the airport side of the parking or the opposite end of the airport for the GA park?
Both. There'll be different systems. There'll be some nuances, but both will
like
be
you.
regulated. Yep.
All right, let's get a motion to approve this. Got a motion, second? Howard, second, all right.
Always number two.
All
Always
those,
number two.
yeah, all those opposed, say aye. All right, nobody speaks up, so it's approved. Good to go, John.
Thank you very much. All right, any other questions? That's all we had for action items today.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you.
Chairman update, well, the chairman number one did not leave chairman number two any updates for today, so. So we'll move on to committee reports. Is there any other committees had anything they need to report this week, this month? Nope. All right, we'll move past that. Any more citizen comments? Nope.
I do, Chairman, if you have
Okay.
1 second.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Tom Race, Beaufort County Council. The last couple of weeks, I had a number of discussions or interviews with potential replacements for Ms. Esposito, and I will say, very positive, incredible candidates, and I told each of them if they were selected, they have a great group to work with, except for you, Rich, now. I have to tell them about you, brother. But by the end of next week, I should have a recommendation to council, to you for ANC, okay?
Yeah, Tom, just a reminder, there's another one in the hopper I spoke to Chris about the other day. So you may touch base with Chris at some point in time before you get into your final deliberations.
I've learned a lot from you, doing it over about a year and a half with you, and I will gladly do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
John, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have a question. On the news, I guess it was last night, it was a recent report on WTOC, and the broadcaster interviewed you. Her name was Lindsay. And the report came out and said, because of our expansion, larger airplanes will be able to land on Hilton Head Island. Is that correct? And did she get it wrong in the interview?
Got it wrong.
Fake news. Fake news.
Well, unfortunately, what tends to happen with some of these interviews is you speak to someone who is not in the airport world, maybe in the travel world, but everybody wants to equate any kind of project on the airport with the word expansion. To me, it's a little bit of fear mongering. It's pretty unfair. there is not an expansion going on. There's an expansion of the terminal going on for customer service purposes. That in and of itself does nothing to change the type or size of aircraft that's using that airport. So I saw the same thing and unfortunately shook my head, but once you finish the interview, that's all you got, and whatever gets left on the floor of the editing room is what gets left there, and what goes on air goes on air. So they do their best, but they're in a business as well. So it's just, unfortunately, it's not the full and clear story.
Not accurate article.
No, it was definitely not.
Chris, what do you expect?
Well, it was a little disappointing because I did not do the interview with Lindsay. She's currently out of state, moving to the state, but we had a 30-minute conversation about the whole airport. I brought her up to speed with everything that's going on. And then I did a on-scene interview with another person from TOC. And, you know, some things get lost in translation. And so, unfortunately, it just didn't come through the way it was put out there. So it's okay. We'll clean it up in future interviews. Once she moves here and is on scene, we'll bring her in and get her educated.
It'll work out.
Thank you.
But to Leslie's point, that's one of your jobs as board members. I mean, you're the ambassadors out there. You know, people swing sledgehammers at Steve and me. You guys have the more casual interactions with folks. It's your job to make sure the truth is out there, because there's not a change like that that's going on. There's other projects happening on the airport, and there have been attempts to tie other projects to non-projects, and that's disingenuous as well. So we try to keep the truth out there. That's why we're going through a very transparent master plan process, so everybody fully understands what's going forward, because this is the community's airport. It's a Beaufort County airport that serves primarily the residents of Hilton Head Island and benefits that whole area the most. So we just want to make sure everybody understands what's going on, and we're an open forum. If folks have questions, please come see us. You know, we're more than willing to educate folks on what's going on and to hear suggestions as well. So we do appreciate that.
All right, no other comments? Move to adjourn. First, second. Done.